Multilingualism has become very important in the world. President Bush has called before for more be a multilingual people to help nations to get peace. Businessmen take night classes in Japanese to be able to communicate with potential buyers or sellers, while high school students get to choose between taking classes in Spanish or French or German. Also, there is another group of people whose amazing ability to pick up new languages, children. The languages with the most speakers worldwide are ranked by millions of people, both native or not. All variations of Chinese have the most of speakers, followed by Spanish and English talkers who are constantly fighting for the second place. And then there are all the Arabic variations improving each time their talkers. In Colombia, there is a tendency to focus on English-Spanish bilingualism at the expense of bilingualism in other foreign languages or in indigenous language. Acknowledging the importance of English in the times of competitiveness in the global market and within the context of different international trade agreements being negotiated with other countries. The national government in Colombia has recently introduced the National Bilingual Program. Among other changes, this policy has introduced the notion of bilingualism, where local stakeholders previously talked about foreign language teaching and learning, reduced the notion of bilingualism in Colombia to English-Spanish. Late in 2005, the Ministry of Education will present the National Bilingual Program 2004-2019, a language policy with no precedent in Colombia. Different from previous projects, this program will constitute a long-term, far-reaching, and comprehensive policy complemented by a presidential plan called Educational Revolution. It would start to have an influence not only in the schools and universities, but also outside the formal education system, and for better or worse will completely change the way teachers and students perceive foreign language teaching and learning in Colombia. Three interviews were conducted with a few of the students.
Hello, Jesus, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Fine, Jesus, ¿cómo el día?
Okay.
Okay, Jesus, tell us, how did you learn your second language?
Well, I gotta say I'm self-taught. I got fascinated in English when I was 12 years old. I would play some games and I needed to learn the language to be able to play it. So that's when I became fascinated with it, and from that moment I became learning by myself. I was looking at magazines, some books that I had from school, and looking for the internet, and basically listening to music for the pronunciation, and yeah, that's how I learned.
Okay, Jesus, tell us, how do you stay motivated to learn more languages?
Well, as I said before, playing games was one of the biggest reasons that I learned the second language. I keep motivating myself by keep playing games. speaking. Because when you face a new game, you need to learn some words that are in this game that you can understand. So, my motivation is to learn how to play the game. I need to learn what the game says to me, how to play. Another reason is music. I love music and listening, singing. I'm not a great singer per se, but I try my best. So yeah, that's two of my motivation. Another motivation is that later on in my life, I want to travel, say England, United States, other countries that the major language is this.
So have you learned a second language your size and why?
Yes, I am a student of mechanical engineer at this university, University of Pamplona. So when it comes to research, searching for new articles, papers, most of them are in English. So it helped me a lot to know the language, so I can understand what they're saying, what they're trying to do, the experiment they're going to do, and help me to have a better understanding of what they're doing. Because when you try to translate to our home language, some of the translate miss one or two word content, and makes it harder to understand what they're saying, what they're trying to tell us. So it quite helped me a lot to know a second language for my studies here at the university.
Okay, Jesus, thanks for your time, thanks for sharing with us your experiences and your opinion.
Okay, thank you for having me, Gabriel.
Afternoon, Jason.
Good afternoon. How are you, Gabriel?
I'm fine, Jason, and thanks for being here for being part of this documentary.
The pleasure is mine, Gabriel.
Well, Jason, tell us, do you know that knowing a foreign language is an advantage?
Yes, sure it is. There are many things to be said about it. First, if you know any language, you can meet people, different cultures and habits. And also, if you're trying to get a job, it will be pretty much easier because you already know another language. And this fact allows you to have a growth in your personal development. So it's an advantage at all.
And Jason, have you to be in exchange?
Yes, I have been. This year I went to a summer camp in America. I worked like a counselor in a summer camp. Its name is Sandy Hill Camp, and it is located in northeast Maryland. And it was an awesome experience. The people I met and the friends I made, it was just great.
Jason, what languages do you like to learn?
Well, there are two languages I would like to learn, and the first one is German, and the second one is Japanese. Japanese, I'm not sure why. Maybe because of the culture, and I started to learn Japanese the first time, but I stopped. And then I started to learn English because it's an international language. And German because I met a lot of people there at camp, and I don't know, I just like the way they pronounce the words. I don't know, I like it. It's awesome.
Jason, thanks again for being here and for being part of this great documentary and for being part of this group.
It was a pleasure, brother.
Hello, Jose. How are you?
Fine, and you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for you to be here to help me to this documentary.
Thanks to you.
Moises, tell me about, do you think that knowing a foreign language encourage you to live abroad in the future?
Well, I feel the courage now. I feel the need to be in contact with other cities, with other languages, and the other cultures. But now I don't have the opportunity. I need more time to prepare myself to finish the school, and then in the future I plan to live abroad, but the courage I have it now.
What do you think, what is the greatest benefit to learn a second language?
Well, the greatest benefit to me has been to know new ways to see the life with other cultures. You learn about how they live, how they think about the universe, and how they see the nature. So it has been a pleasure to me to meet the cultures through the language. So that is the greatest benefit to me, to know all about people, to know how people live, and because every language has a story, so that story represents a lot about the culture.
Last question. Are there any companies that request you to know a second language to be hired?
Yes, here in Colombia there's a lot of companies. I think almost every company in this country requests to know a second language. They request the most to know English as a second language, but there is other companies like in Boyacá they request to know Japanese, and there's another companies to request Germany and other languages, but the main language must be the English. So, but yeah, like I said, almost every company in this country requests a second language.
Okay, thank you so much to be part of this documentary and to help me. Thank you so much. So see you later.
No problem.
Okay. Increasingly, experts are urging people to learn a second language in order to be competitive in an interconnected world. Learning a language is thought to not only provide the learner with new language skills, but also to broaden their understanding of the world via the cultural education that often goes hand in hand with learning another language. Each time we see more bilingual and multilingual people, some of them for necessity or hobby. Language and the Internet language study introduces you to new realms of ideas, customs, habits, and values. In both professional and personal ways, the 21st century places demands of people's global knowledge. Do you want to start a new language now? Do you know a second language yet?